Hello, 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 everybody. Happy Friday to you, and welcome back to another radiant episode of The Breakthrough Show. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I'm so excited you've joined me today for a conversation that I know is going to inspire you, empower you, and remind you of your own brilliance, which I think we all, frankly, need to be reminded of every now and then. Now, if you've been a part of this community for any amount of time, you know that I hold deep respect for people who show up fully with authenticity, vulnerability, fire, and joy, even when life is throwing curveballs. And my guest today, she embodies all of that and more. She's a global speaker, creative strategist, podcast host, and a powerful voice for purpose-driven living, which you know we love here on the Breakthrough Show Network. You might have heard her online known as Doctora the Explorer. See, now I have things going on in my head that I really hoped would not throughout the show. But she has traveled the world and she helps build bridges between passion, purpose, and impact. She is also a woman of faith, fierce compassion, and has a contagious energy. Beyond the titles and the platforms, I have come to really enjoy her as a friend. And when I think of her, I think of resilience, I think of accountability, and the kind of brilliance that refuses to be dimmed, no matter the season. Today, we're going to talk about journey, the real one, the one that includes things like depression, comparison traps, accountability, and the quiet victories of just continuing to show up. We'll also reflect on the incredible WorldBuilding Expo that we were both part of recently and how events like that are shaping what's truly possible for change makers around the globe. So I want you to get ready because this is not just an interview. This is a heart-centered, soul-sparking conversation. So please welcome my friend and my brunch hacker sister, Dr. CK. Let's do it. Dr. CK in the building, everybody. Woo woo.
Hey, everybody. Wow. What
I'm so excited to finally have you here because I wanted to do this with you for a while.
Yeah. Our schedules have been just not in alignment until now.
We busy ladies. We are busy ladies.
It's been back and forth, but man, I'm here. Look, Ma, I made it.
Looks like we made it. Okay. That's our musical moment for the day, everybody. You're welcome. So let's
probably one more.
Probably so. All right. So I love to start by asking people, just share something that's bringing you joy in your life today.
Oh, something that's bringing me joy in my life today is where I am in life.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought that I would be fully where I am at this late in life. I married, new mom, my amazing toddler, and, back in America. Did not expect to be back in America, especially not at this time. But it's bringing me joy because it's like there's so many things that I could say that I wish I had. But when I think about all that I do have, it's like, it's a beautiful life, So that's what's bringing me joy.
I love it. And I'm sad because we did not, Dr. CK is down south and I just moved back up north from down south. So I wish it's one of those moments I wish our paths would have crossed just a little sooner, but it's okay. We're doing it now. We're doing it now.
Exactly.
So I mentioned that you have traveled many places, and you just mentioned now that you're surprised you're back here in the U.S. So I want to hear a little bit tell everybody about your travel journeys and what did ultimately bring you back to the States.
Okay. Well, my first experience, I grew up traveling. within the States. My parents are just like these get up and go people all over the place. And because they're also pastors, so they would travel, for ministry. And being a kid, my brother and I, we would just be dragged along the way. Like,
Yeah.
you're going, right? But the thing that I learned the most was to really appreciate discovery and exploration. And so when I was studying abroad in actually before then, it was back in like 2004, 2005, like 20 years ago, when the international bug hit me. And I was studying at the University of North Carolina in Greensboro for my undergraduate degree. And I had an opportunity to go overseas. So the first place was Bahamas for spring break. I was in the gospel choir because vocal cords, okay? We can
Yeah.
sing a little.
Yeah.
And so I had that experience. And then like a few months later, I decided to go study abroad. Spanish, my father is half Puerto Rican, half African American, but we never spoke Spanish in the house. We never spoke it in the home. And so as a little girl, I knew, okay, I am 1/4 Puerto Rican. I am going to learn Spanish. You hear me? 1/4 means something to me. And so I grew up just with this obsession of learning Spanish. And I did. And then it became my second language. But I went to study abroad in Mexico, and it changed my entire world. Came back. I should have stayed, but I came back because I was in a relationship at the time. And, we're young and dumb, so we think stupid stuff. Thought I was going to get married. It went to shambles, and that kind of sent me into my first emotional depression.
Yeah.
And then it actually kept me from traveling overseas for like 12 years.
Wow.
12 years. And then when the door finally opened back up again in 2017, it was like no turning back. I went backpacking through Europe by myself. And, let me tell you something. At that time, there were not many African American plus 1/4 Puerto Ricans backpacking.
And make sure you get that in there. Make sure you get that in there, okay?
Okay. Backpacking through Europe. So I didn't really have much to go off of except for the students that I was working with. And they were from these countries. So they were telling me, go here, teacher, go here, go here, go here. Came back from Europe, moved to China, was only supposed to be there for a year. Fell in love with an American, but also fell in love with Chinese culture because the cost of was like, let me tell you, I was balling. You hear me? I was a baller in China. So I'm going to say where my coins mattered. And I ended up being there for 5 years and having some amazing opportunities and traveling, border hopping and all this stuff like that. Then I met my husband, who is Zambian, moved to Africa, actually moved to the Philippines because we were going to be there first. And then the Philippines, me and, tsunamis, we don't get along. So we left.
I wouldn't either.
Like, who would want to stay and potentially drown when you could just stay on dry land? Make it make sense. So we left. We went to, we were in Zambia for a while. Then Namibia, which was the desert. I was pregnant in the desert, which was crazy. And South Africa, and I was going to stay there. But our baby boy was about to be born. And I was coming up on the threshold of not being able to fly. You're not supposed to fly, especially internationally. You're not supposed to fly at, 36 weeks or 34 weeks. Well, I was 36 going on 37 weeks. And I didn't look like, I was pregnant. They just thought I was heavy. They just thought I was bigger. So I embraced it. I'm trying to stay as long as I can. Came back to the States reluctantly, but the best for baby boy. Had a beautiful birth. And still we're here, but we're waiting for husband to get here now. So that's the whole story, you guys. All my go brunchers. Yeah, my brunchers. You're going to find out a lot about me today.
I love it. I love having you heard it here first moments, everybody. And you know that. And so we love
Oh,
that.
yeah.
But I wanted to ask you about the traveling first because I know that that is going to tie in a lot to the work that you do in the world and the things that
Mhm.
you're passionate about. And so we're going to get to that in just a minute. We're going to take a super quick break. If you start to have any burning questions for Dr. CK, I want you to put them down in the comments. Thank you all for being here today, and we'll be right back after this break.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home. Where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Welcome back to The Breakthrough Show. Visit us at thebreakthroughshownetwork.com and check out our virtual community and all of our amazing shows that we have here in the network. I'm here today with the amazing, the brilliant Dr. CK. And I'm so excited. Before the break, we were talking about her whirlwind travel journey throughout her whole life. It's interesting because I was not somebody who really traveled a lot when I was younger, but I also had sort of that same passion for culture and for just like, I just was always so interested at that sort of thing. And I got really into, the genealogy and things of my family. And that when you were talking about the percentage, the way that I grasp on to being Italian and it's a small percentage, like it's unbelievable. I'm Italian. It's just, it's what it is.
It matters.
You connect with what you connect with, and that's just it. So I want you to tell everybody what you do in your work, and because I think you guys are going to start to see what I've seen, and that's that all of this traveling has really, propelled her into this space. So tell everybody what you do and why did you go? What makes you passionate about this work you do?
Perfect. Okay. So, well, currently I have just been so blessed and fortunate to work with multilingual management executives and industry professionals. They are the head honchos, and English is not their first language. It's probably their second or their third language. And I love working with them because in their native tongue, they are they're they're the boss, right? Like they're powerhouses. They give these amazing speeches, keynotes. They are running presentations, running meetings, doing all the things. But when it comes time for them to have this cross cultural interaction, speaking in English to do the exact same thing, they shrink. They don't shine as much as they do in their own language. And I have been very fortunate to work with them in building their confidence in and their competence. It's like helping them bridge that confidence gap and showing them how they can take that same authority that they have in their own language and translate it over into English when they're presenting or interacting or dealing with stakeholders. And it's just been such a rewarding experience for me.
What do you think are those things though that is it just the language? Is that it? Is that the only thing that like keeps them from being confident, or are there other things tied into that?
I think we get stuck in our heads.
Mm.
That's what it is. We get stuck in our heads. We are, and I say we because this is how it was for me, even when I was communicating in Spanish.
Mm.
As you know, having it as a second language, and then having people, native Spanish speakers, come up and they want to have a conversation. As soon as they know you can speak a little bit of Spanish, they're just like da, 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 going, and automatically that insecurity sets in that
Mm.
says, I'm not a native, so what if it doesn't sound exactly like the way that they would need it to for me to be
Right.
understood?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have seen that in every single student or client that I have worked with. I've seen that they meet me, and many of them are ranked far higher than I am, especially like in their career. I mean, they've been in their career for 30, 40 years. But yet when it comes time for them to speak, they, in perfectly good English, they explain to me why they're not able to communicate. And I'm like, are you serious?
Mm.
It's getting in the head. It's all in our minds, and also probably past experiences.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
I wonder too, though, if we hear things differently to ourselves than other people hear things. Have you found that with them as well?
Yes. And I've also found that they are their harshest critic.
Mm. Yeah.
Harshest. And I mean, they could answer, I can give them a prompt, they'll answer it, respond. But even when they communicate it, when they say it with such wavering, like just wavering confidence. It's like, I want to be confident that I'm saying the right thing, but it comes out sounding like a question because I'm unsure if I'm saying the right thing. It's like, I know what I want to say, but I don't know if you are going to understand it.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
That's a hard thing, even taking language off the table. That's a hard thing to let go of, how other
Yeah.
people might receive what we say.
Yeah.
I still learn that lesson every day.
Listen.
Every day I'm learning that lesson. It's crazy. It's crazy. I know that you are as passionate about taking accountability for your life and your choices as I am. Is that something that you look for in clients as well? Do you expect them, if you will, to be sort of, accountable for their journey and for finding that confidence within themselves?
I think it's two ways. I halfway, yes,
Yeah.
but then the other half of it is sometimes you do need somebody to just hold your hand to let you know that they're there with you, that they see and have experienced what you are like. That anxiety is real.
Yeah.
And sometimes especially like you were saying, whether we factor in it being a different language or not, anxiety is debilitating. It can stop you from, it can make you weak. It can stop you from doing so many things that can make you sick. And so, yes, while I expect there to be a level of accountability that they have, I'm also holding their hand. I'm letting them know until it's like, training a child how to ride a bike without the training wheels,
Yeah.
I'm with you until you're ready for the training wheels to fall off. Sometimes I'm going to take them off before you're ready, just to show you that you are capable of effective and efficient cross-cultural communication.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That hand holding is so important. I mean, I think we're in a time right now where we're seeing so many coaches and mentors, I wouldn't even call them mentors, honestly, that are putting cookie cutter things out into the world and going, just follow this and everything will be fine. And I have told people, and I've gotten myself in trouble, but it is what it is. I have told people throughout the years, if somebody tries to give you a cookie cutter system or a worksheet, your job is only one step and you are to run. Run, because if they're not gonna cuss, because we're all individuals, right? Like
Yeah.
and especially I can imagine even more so in your line of work, because everybody's languages and dialects and pronunciation, all of that is so individual. I could
Yeah.
not imagine a world where handing one of your clients a cookie cutter thing would be a good idea.
It doesn't work. But here's the thing that I have, it's crazy that you're saying that. It's because this is what many English for specific purposes, many of those courses kind of it's based on that. It's based on, let's just teach you English altogether. Let's teach you
Yeah.
the correct grammar, let's teach you inflections, and let's teach you pronunciation, let's teach you vocabulary. Let's teach you all the things that you need so that you feel like you can be an effective communicator. And just like we've mentioned before, taking language out of it, I have seen native speakers not be able to communicate effectively simply because there's that lack of confidence. And
Mhm.
there's a couple of other things missing too when it comes to effective communication. So the way that I approach this is, okay, you've already had all the basic training. You've been studying English as another language since you were probably in grade school.
Mm.
But what you need to understand also is the effective communication patterns, and then also confidence, being able to communicate in a way that is unique to you and your industry and what you are trying to achieve. So cookie cutter, I do not believe is it's the answer. I don't think it's the answer. I do think it shows a lack of patience, because this is a
Mm.
long process.
Right.
It's a long process.
That's another whole conversation too. That's gonna have to be another show, because I will go. I will build a soapbox big enough for the both of us.
And I will be right there. Amen with everything you say.
Everybody's talking about cookie cutters now, though. We got biscuits. Okay. All right. I want to get into something that is really real for a lot of people for a couple minutes here, because you mentioned about anxiety being real. And you and I have come to find out through the very short time that we've known each other that we have a lot of things in common. We're not just moms. We don't just love to hack all the things out. And I think we're both very passionate about life, but you and I both have been through some stuff behind the scenes as well. And so, what have you found to be the most challenging thing for you in being able to show up for your clients when you've got that stuff going on?
Mm. Um, hmm. I have One of the things is remembering that their goals is not about me.
Mm.
I have had some especially in this current season that I'm in, not being physically with my husband. We have been waiting for almost 2 years now for this immigrant visa. And this is, we've had some friends of ours overseas said, well, why don't you just, everybody else is sneaking across the border. Why don't y'all just do that? And because my husband and I are like, we have integrity and also wisdom, we were like, he and my husband, he's totally opposite than I am, by the way. He is an introvert and I'm the extrovert. And he was like, I don't want to do that. He's just like, that doesn't sound like a good idea.
Yeah.
And I said, because the way you start something is the way it's probably going to end. We're going to constantly be looking over our shoulders, wondering if, here comes ICE trying to, rip you away apart. And then look at what's happening now. Like, this was
Right.
years before any of what's currently happening now was happening. So we were very thankful for wisdom that we decided to do it the right way. But it has been very challenging to
Right.
be apart from someone who has grown to be your best friend,
Right.
someone who you love fighting with.
Right.
Like, y'all married people know, everything is not always a bed of roses. Sometimes we're arguing, we're fighting. But he's my favorite person to fight with. Okay. And also raising our son with our village here, but through FaceTime. Some of those days have been super hard for me. Super hard. And those are the days when I really don't feel like showing up. I have had a past of dealing with depression and overcoming depression. And many of those times, just because you've overcome it before, it doesn't mean that it won't come knocking at your door again.
Exactly.
But when it does come knocking, you have a choice. Do I answer and let it in? And then, stay in the bed all day, forgetting that I have a baby, a son to raise. I have a little king to raise, neglecting to interact with people just because I miss my husband, just because, things are really tough right now.
Right.
Or do I get up? Do I decide to focus on someone else's problem and being the solution for them, which will, for me, make time go faster so that I get closer to seeing my husband again. Like in my mind, that's how it works. Okay, let me focus on all these other things so that I'm not drowning in the time that passes by.
Right.
But sometimes it does get worse than others. And I think I had a post on LinkedIn recently that was talking about how it was hard for me to show up in our virtual co-working session that whole week. And that day in particular, I just really didn't want to show up. I was like, nobody might show up anyway. It'll just be me. So I could just stay in bed. And that day, not only did a few people show up, but the founder, the whole, the genius behind Go Brunch shows up, and he comes and he spends time in my virtual space to get work done. Not just 15 minutes. He stayed for the entire time.
See, and that's the way things work.
That right there. Even now, my eyeballs are sweating. I'm like, don't do it. But it just really showed me the power of putting others before you in your dark seasons, because that will help you come out back into the light.
Yeah. I have to, there's a couple things. One, I commend you on the entire conversation about integrity, because we are in a world right now where there's a lot of craziness happen. We've had a lot happen in the last couple of days that we're all trying to process and sit with, and all of those things. And sometimes it can be easy for us in those situations to go, well, I don't need to have integrity. Everybody else needs to have integrity, and pointing the finger instead of, that's why there's some comments that have come in that I won't even show because there's just not even a need. There's not, because this is about us. And for me, it's about taking personal responsibility. My husband is also an immigrant, and he did things legally. And sometimes you have to sit with stuff, and sometimes it's on a waiting list, and sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And it's hard, but I can sleep at night. So there's that.
There's no fear or anxiety of something being taken away or removed from you, because you know that you're doing things according to the law. You're doing things according to the way it's supposed to go. And yes, it's a long process. I mean, I'm still in groups and forums now where people who they started at the same time as I did, they're still waiting for the next steps. And you're talking about 2 years or so. So, and it's easy to judge or to have comments about things that you have not ever experienced, nor will ever experience.
Right.
So I think of the little old ladies that sit on the side in the rocking chair, and they're judging people and saying, but they never did anything in their lives. And those are the ones where you just keep on walking right past them, and you have to just let things fall off, because nobody understands what you are going through unless they have gone through it themselves.
Right. Can we just have a moment and agree that when we're little old ladies that we'll get together and sit in a rocking chair on the front porch and just have a moment? Can we let's just sit on the porch and judge people for just for a minute, and then we'll come back to
I'll give it to you. I will. And then I'm
It'll
probably
be
gonna
fun.
laugh at it and be like, "This is who I was talking about. We have become them."
We have become that. We'll look back on this moment and we'll say, see, we manifested this. We prayed it right into existence.
Oh, there we are.
Oh, yeah. And the depression part too. Like, I've had so many moments where, especially in doing the morning show. So I'm on it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 o'clock in the morning. And even though I'm a morning person and I'm up really early most of the time, that doesn't always mean that I want to be up early. It
Right.
doesn't mean that I might want to be awake, but not necessarily like up and entertaining at 9 in the morning. And
Right.
so there's times like you explained with the co-working that show has saved me because I didn't want to get up, and then here I am. I'm forced, quote unquote, who forced me? Me.
Yeah.
I'm forced to talk about joy in the morning, and here I am leaving joyful. And so I could see the same thing with like the days where you might be in that funk, in that space of depression, and you don't necessarily want to work. Because I know there's days I don't either. And then I come on to your co-working or you come on to mine, and now we're productive because we showed up. And I think that's such a big part of showing up and being productive and doing big things in your life. What would you say?
It is. And another thing that I also would like to mention is that sometimes we think that people who display the most joy never experience darkness. We think that people who are always, they're the go-getters, they're happy, that they never have been through anything. And so or the fact that what you don't understand, here's the thing. What you don't understand is that it's a choice. I can either show up as a grouch and repel people, or I can show up as the brilliant being that God created me to be, and I can attract people. Why? Because people are attracted to light. Darkness tends to repel. So just because you might show up with your moodiness and be like, well, I don't know what you got to be happy for. You must not be dealing with what I'm dealing with, or all these other things. And it's like, I'm dealing with way worse. But it was a choice for me to show up and to be that positivity that somebody else needs, because you reap what you sow. I'm sowing happiness. I'm sowing joy. I'm sowing positivity because I need it. I'm not showing, being mean to you and being all these other things, because then that's what's going to come back in my life. And I don't need that. I got enough going on. That's how I look at it.
That's it. You see the happy face, Belle? There it is.
Thank you.
Okay. Because I think we are in this time right now where so many people make assumptions, and it's so easy with social media to make assumptions about somebody's life, and you truly do not know what that person is dealing with. And so kindness is important. Not making those assumptions is important. And it's the same way. Like when people come on and they're all grumpy because they stubbed their toe, I'm like, y'all know I broke my leg.
Your toe versus my leg.
I mean, and then it gets into a place that I cannot stand, which is a place of competition about whose life is worse. And I'm just like, no, stop it. Just put a smile on your face. Okay, there. Okay, that's a
better place. See?
There it is.
And honestly, I don't even know if those are the real words, because I always mess some words up. So let's just throw that out there.
Okay.
If you're like, those are not the words, they are my words. Okay. So let's get that out there first.
So good. Listen, my husband is that person. And I promise you, I will get competitive on this. He's the worst person for it. I promise you, you will never mess up words as bad as my husband does. He'll start, and I'll look over at him in the car and I'm like, what is that? Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Who is that?
I will put him up to my father any day. This is where I get it. Now, those two together, because let me tell you, it doesn't matter where my parents are. They will make a new song out of something. You'd be like, what are you doing? Like, this is in public. And they do it with such confidence. Like, the worst best at it.
Yeah.
I would
Yep.
challenge against my father. I promise you, I would challenge against my father because I'm telling you,
That could be a special in the future, you guys. Just
I would sign up my
Coming
whole
soon.
family.
coming
Whole
soon.
family.
This will be a special edition episode. You have no idea what's coming. Yeah, and so as we talk about, we get into this comparison about, the bad things in life, but we're also constantly comparing each other when it comes to our businesses and stuff too, where, and I see it in every community, really. No, I haven't seen one where people don't start comparing each other. And it's interesting because I mentioned a couple times that Dr. CK and I are hackers, and that's because we do this fun stuff with our virtual communities on through the Go Brunch platform, and we'll take a moment and bow to the incredible Claudio for just a moment. Moment while we're on here. We love some Claudio. But you and I are both, you know what? Ollie just said it. We are doers.
Mm-hmm.
We are doers. We will learn something. We have a goal. We have something we want to get done. And it was done the day before we thought of it. Like, it's just like,
yes.
Where's my bell? So we get it done. And sometimes there's little comments and things that are made, and I know people are just trying to be cute, but there's little comments and things about, shining the teacher's apple and, overachievers. There it is.
Stacy.
There it is. And so, but to me, it's not, I get inspired by simple rooms. I get inspired by someone's colors. They could have a purple, background in the room, and that's it. And I'll be like, oh, it's my color. I love this. Right. Let's do more purple, right. And being inspired by, how do you personally stay out of that comparison trap, or are we, because I'm a work in progress on that.
Are you guys ready for my answer?
I'm ready.
Like it, but I think it explains why I have been absent or hidden from the online life for the past 3 years or so. So I out of sight, out of mind. And I know it's not going to be popular for everyone because they're like, well, I need to see some things. And I get it. You do. But I don't have to. I need to have tunnel vision for a while, and then gain momentum. And then I can peek up and, pay attention to the comments or to whatever else is happening. But if I pay attention too soon, I may not get off the ground with what I really believe is going to make a difference in someone's life. When I'm building, I'm not just building for myself. We talked about the virtual museum that I built, and when I had to stay focused. The thing is, it's so easy, especially when you are creative and innovative. It is so easy to get distracted by what other people are creating. Not necessarily because you want to compete, but sometimes it's just like Jessica said, you'll see something, you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like this is beautiful. And then in your mind, you start thinking, is mine good enough? Like, will someone look at mine and say, okay, this is amazing. If the purpose that I am building or creating this product for, or this, this service for, will someone see it and say, yes, this is an answer to my prayer? And if not, like if you're having all of these what ifs in the beginning, it's going to slow you down instead of just doing the thing first and then validating it later. Building it first. And one of the things, like, I don't, and I apologize, LinkedIn, I apologize, YouTube and Facebook, if y'all need the apologies, but I do not show up like I used to.
Yeah.
I used to show up every day, all day. I mean, I started, especially back when Facebook was just for college students. That's how long I've been in the online game doing that. But as I was leaving China, and China was amazing for me because we didn't actually have access to a lot of the social networking platforms
Mm-hmm.
unless you use a VPN. And so it was optional for me to turn on my VPN and check everything out, and it'd be buggy, or to just stay off. And then when I moved from China, I just decided I'm in a season where I need to focus on what's happening in my life. Because if I start looking at what's happening in everybody else's lives,
Yeah.
the highlight reels of what people show, people don't show all the ugly parts. And even, these wonderful vloggers and influencers who record every step of their day, it is staged.
It
Okay.
100%.
It is who is just gonna flip over the cover and walk out of bed like that? No, I'm squiggling around, like I'm stretching in the bed, like I'm trying to get my life together. I'm trying to get my mind ready to even put my feet on the ground.
Right.
But if I'm looking at what other people are doing, it's going to make me feel like I'm insignificant. And clearly that is not the case. So I have to focus on what I got to have, that tunnel vision, and then I can come up for air later.
It's so important. As a person who is I put the blinders on a lot. Like I really just like, I've got to get this done. I have an idea. Let's go. And it is hard being a person like that who watches people that are close to us not be people like that. And it's not to say we all have to be the same, but it is hard when someone you love and appreciate and value and respect comes to you and says, I'm just not getting, I'm not getting anywhere. And you want to be like, do you know why? And it's hard because they don't work in the same way. And so, they don't necessarily see that they haven't put the blinders on. They're getting too distracted by all of the things. And sometimes you've got to shut the stuff down because then you overcomplicate it for yourself. Shut it down.
You just said a whole lot of things. And I think that you're probably nicer than I am, because you don't say, this is your problem.
I have though. And then people, and because people are used to me a certain kind of way, they're just like, ma'am, who is that?
People need that. People need that moment of shock, that moment of surprise when you say, you are the problem. And I say this in love. But you are so amazing. I love, I do the feedback sandwich quite often, give them the positive and drop that negative bomb right in there and then come back.
But I love you.
Yeah. Right. It's just like, wow, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah.
But here's the truth. It's your fault. You're the problem. Snap out of it. Who said you weren't good enough? Why do you feel like you're not? Who are you looking at that you're comparing to, that you have no idea how they really feel or what's going on in their lives? We create these narratives about people's lives based on what we see, not knowing their backstory, not knowing what's happening behind the scenes. And so it is unfair to our brilliance, to our genius, to sit and look at what someone shares and then compare what we are dealing with on the inside that we have not shared. The narrative that we start creating is belittling to us. It puts us down and lifts them up. And it's like, but who told you that this was what's happening? Who told you that this is the truth? You're the problem. I love you though. And I know that you have so much more on the inside of you, and I want to see it come out. So do better.
Yeah.
These are conversations that I had with myself as well.
Yes. That is the key for me right there, is I don't say anything to anybody that I haven't already said to myself.
Ding, ding, the bell. Ding that bell.
I mean, it's true. I don't, and I think the thing of it is people have a hard time sometimes trusting that, because there are people that will say a lot of things that they haven't said to themselves. There's a lot of people that don't walk their talk, but I promise you that Dr. CK and I are not those people. So,
we're not those people.
We're not those people.
And not only that, if you have been damaged or have been hurt, We will love you back to wholeness, but it's not going to be in the way that's going to coddle you.
That's
Why?
it.
You're not a baby. You're not a baby. I will not coddle you, but I will love you back to wholeness. I will love you back till you see yourself the way that I see you, the way that I see your brilliance, the way that I see that you are capable. I know that you could, and your business, I know that your business can succeed. You have what it takes on the inside of you, but
Yeah.
you stop yourself from achieving greatness every time you compare yourself to somebody else. You should only compare yourself with the future you. That's who you need. She or he or they, that is your biggest competitor. Not these people.
That's
It's
it.
that one. That one.
That's it. See, I was looking around here at all these little buttons and bells and everything. I'm missing a collection basket. We need to pass that. We need to pass that around. All right. Listen, I need to take a breath. We're going to take one more quick break. And when we come back, we're going to find out give a little overview of what we did at the Global Business Plaza WorldBuilding Expo very quickly. And then we're going to find out what Dr. CK is working on and where we can find her and all that good stuff. So we'll be right back after this. Don't move a muscle.
Caldwell Williams. On April 4th, I was 90 years old, grandson of slaves. My parents were first generation free. A long time ago, I embraced the definition of love. Love is the experience of well-being. And a friend is one who mutually shares that experience of well-being with you, which opens up almost infinite creative possibilities.
We're told as children to go make friends, but what did that look like? And how has it changed over time? Friendship is one of life's greatest gifts, and sometimes one of its greatest challenges.
Someone who is there to support you, someone who is willing to go through the ups and downs of life with you.
Connection, but also the opportunity for learning and deeper connection.
If I don't talk to that person for 2 months, we pick up the phone like we've never stopped talking. To me, that is what a friend is.
Friend to me is someone I can share my joys, also the struggles I have.
Friend means somebody that you can talk to and that you can trust.
So a friend to me is actually someone really, really close, an inner circle person.
And I think it's an important discussion to pass on to other generations so they don't get caught being lonely at the end because they haven't thought about friends in different ways.
This is the Friendship Paradox, a raw and real exploration of connection. Through 26 voices across miles and time zones, we reflect on the friendships that shape us, challenge us, and teach us who we truly are.
I need your shoulder.
What does it mean to be a friend? How do we navigate connection in a world that's constantly changing? And what can we learn about friendship by looking within? This isn't just a film about friendship, it's a call to reflect on the relationships we've built, the ones we've lost, and the sacred connection we have with ourselves. What does friendship mean to you?
Visit thefriendshipparadox.com. I can't believe we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of that film. You can go watch anytime completely free at thefriendshipparadox.com. And I am so honored to call my guest today a friend now. And so it fits right in with our conversation today. Thank you for being here, Dr. CK. I've really enjoyed our conversation so far this afternoon.
It's amazing. That film, it's very emotional. And I look forward to watching it. And I just wanted to say, like, you are such an amazing host. I'm used to being in your seat. As when I told you, I said, coming into this backstage is so nostalgic for me. Like, I'm so used to being the host, and it just reminded me of the Leaders Lab podcast that I did for 2 amazing seasons, and then got married and pregnant, and then haven't had
life.
season 3 and then life. But just seeing, what you're producing, and it's just like, okay, just because it's a long pause doesn't mean that it won't come back in the future. But this has just been amazing.
That's right. And there's always room on the Breakthrough Show Network for a Dr. CK show. I'm just saying.
Yes, I love the
Raise your hand. Raise your hand out there if you would like to see. See, this is called peer pressure. If you would like to see the Dr. CK show.
Man,
oh, wild. So listen, I wanted to really say, hands are raising. Okay. And so you and I both participated in the WorldBuilding Expo last Tuesday, sponsored by the Global Business Plaza, the incredible Baggy and team. Tell us briefly, what that experience was like for you, because you got to be the first keynote of the day, my friend.
I know. So you talk about pressure. I was like, I'm the first one. Like, couldn't I be like the middle? I knew I wasn't going to be last, right? I knew we were saving the best for last, and that was Peggy. Like, she is the brain behind this. So I was like, can't Claudio go first? I mean, so I was the first one, and thank you, Stacy. So it was just very interesting that I was even asked. It came up out of nowhere, like, this summer was super busy for me, and I get this email, and it's like, hey, can I talk to you for a moment? Sure, Peggy, what you need? Your name kind of came up to be a keynote speaker.
Oh yeah, we were all talking about it in the room without you, just so you know.
I wasn't even there. What? And then to be on a panel too, and I was just like, okay. Yeah. And I had no idea how I wanted to talk about it, but I just knew I wanted to talk about the people that I was passionate about and what I was able to create for them. And it was a huge honor to share how, building a virtual museum, not just some static one, like an interactive virtual museum that had real world purpose, real world principles, and gave real world opportunities to these brilliant archaeologists, historians, and tourism guides in Iraq, gave them the opportunity to interact with international visitors in English from all around the world in this virtual museum. I mean, building it was a highlight, but seeing them, overcome this anxiety and this fear of speaking in English with native English speakers, it's highlight of my life. Yeah.
I love it. And, your museum, honestly, Claudio should pay you, because it was what inspired me to take my spaces to the next level, because I had already had the ideas in my mind, but I didn't know how am I going to make that happen? And then when I saw your space, I'm like, I could make this happen. And so I was, Claudio, you need to help her out over here. You're not
the only one. I've actually heard a couple of people say, okay, where's the link? And so I went on ahead and put the badge, I'm a hacker. I put it in my museum so that people can just see and automatically click and, link. But I think I told you this, or either I told Kenya, I said, the two of you, your spaces, first of all, you're iconic elevator before you even became a hacker. And I will forever tell this.
I can't get out from under it.
Well, Stacy Mariuka, who is the squirrel wrangler, she came into the World Builder room, like the expo room, and said it just so casually. Hey, if anybody wants to go check out Jessica's elevator, this is the room. I'm like, who is Jessica? Who's the elevator? Let me see what the elevator looks like. And I'm really expecting like crazy bells and whistles, just over the top stuff. And I click on this room and I'm going through, and then I get into the elevator, and the first thing that I see has me laughing with so much joy. It's the gift, right? Some people say GIF or GIF. It's the gift of one of my favorite Christmas movies, Elf. And it's him in the elevator just going up and down. And it's just this cute little pun. No elfing around in the elevator. And I'm just like, I don't know who you are, but I love you. And then I start clicking on the buttons, and each one takes me to a different room. This is her own brilliance. This was not like a hack, from what we. And so I'm looking at what she does without hackers. And I'm looking at what Kenyatta has done in her spaces without hackers. And I'm both like, okay, we need to be in the same sphere here. Come on. And it's amazing to be around other brilliant minds. I mean, just because I mentioned those two names, it doesn't mean that they're the only two. Claudio, I love you, Claudio. Claudio has really selflessly given us some amazing tools and insight at how we can make our spaces better. But really, in my opinion, it is how we can do it for a specific purpose and reason. And
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
There's nothing to say. There's nothing to say about. I mean, because I think we have a really good time too. And what you mentioned about like coming into the elevator and seeing the elf thing and knowing that we would be friends after that, like. That is what I'm passionate about when it comes to building these spaces, especially for my other hosts on the network, whether it's for one of their workshops or, their offices or whatever. It was so funny because I just had a follow-up interview with Marissa for the Go Brunch YouTube. And I was showing her around some of the new spaces, and we went into one and she goes, "This must be for Stacy Brayuka." And it was the workshop room I made for her. And so it's like this, that just makes me light up so big, like for people to go into a virtual space and know why they're there and who they're there to see. That's it for me, because that's what an in-person experience is like. You go into someone's home, you see little bits and pieces of them, in the things that they decorate with and all of that stuff. You know whose space it is. And that's what I want for our online presence as well. No more Hollywood squares. We're not playing that anymore. Okay. All right. Tell the people what you're working on, Doctor. That's going on a t-shirt, by the way. Tell the people what you're working on, Dr. CK, and where they can find you.
Well, you can definitely find me in my Go Brunch space. It is called the Executive Edge HQ. And I'm working on building some more virtual spaces, like the virtual museum that I have done, which is, it awarded me a second contract, longer time. And this one, what's coming up next is just going to be pretty amazing. I'm still in the whole blueprint phase of it right now. But you can find me on Substack as well. You can go to my website, c3global.co. And I'm not going to lie and say that I'm going to be more active on social media at this time. Like, because, you can find me on. No, I am on social media. And if you message me, I will get an email. So just give me time to go through the emails and respond. But it's easiest for you to just pop by and see me in the virtual spaces that I'm very excited about. I am working on something pretty major that will be officially announced on LinkedIn. Yeah, it's when I tell you, my face hurts from like the joy that I get from what I've created. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm already testing it in the market now. This is that tunnel vision, right? This is that I can't look at what everyone else is doing. I have to focus because I'm trying to build a legacy for my family. And so it will be being released before the end of the year. And it's going to be major. So just stay connected.
I love it. Stacey said, I love how you're able to keep whatever it is a secret. But, you know, it goes back to what you were talking about before. When I create something now, I like to sit with it for a while. That's my baby. That's my thing that I've put so much love and heart into. I even said to and I love Dr. CK. I even said to Dr. CK when I was building my escape room, I was like, I'm sorry, you can't see it right now, because I needed that time to like sit with it and be with it before everybody else starts getting into comparison mode.
I was about to say, do you know why? Because well-meaning people, and I mean, they have amazing intentions because they truly love you. What they tend to do is they see it and then they begin to vomit ideas. They begin to, you know, it's almost like uncontrollable, right? They begin to spit out ideas and, oh, you could do this, or you could add this, or what if it had this, and what if it had that? And it's like all of this is amazing. I appreciate that, but I need to see if it fits the direction and the purpose of the space that I'm building.
That's it.
And so that's why I don't know if I would say a secret, but because privacy and secrecy are two different things.
Yeah.
But I have learned to truly appreciate privacy when I'm building, because not everything is meant to be shared in the public, because sometimes your ideas will die in the public's eye before it's able to really launch.
That's it. That's it. This has been so much fun, and I should have planned it for a 2-hour show.
Listen. Now
we don't have any problems talking, both of us.
Not one. But I'm so grateful for being here. Thank you for the opportunity, Stacey. Not Stacey, sorry. Stacey,
this is what we get for talking to Stacey. This is your fault.
Stacey is talking about me. Jessica, thank you. This has been really amazing. I'm made to the Breakthrough Show. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Thank you. And of course, we would love to have you back. Thank you, everybody, for being here this afternoon with us. I hope you have enjoyed it. I certainly did. So if you didn't, I don't know, you missed out somewhere. That's all I can tell you. I'm Jessica Dugas. Thanks for visiting us. Go check out all the shows, all the events at the breakthroughshownetwork.club. And to my hosts, I'm on my way to the meeting. I'll be right there. So all of that said, I want to remind you to make every day a great day for a breakthrough. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.